Book 2 in the Immortal series is now here. Immortal Apocalypse, when myth becomes reality. The time is present day. The reptilian species that has remained hidden for thousands of years have now infiltrated every major government on the planet and have now decided that it is time to take back their world. This means that they wish to eradicate every human from the face of the planet. The children of the old gods, however, do not wish to allow this to happen and join the humans in stopping the reptilians, even though, for the most part, humans still do not know that the immortals even exist. Did I mention that Bigfoot plays a big role in this story as well? They have aligned themselves with the immortals, and there are also other cryptids that play a role in this book as well. This tale of magic, suspense, and romance showcases Paul's engrossing storytelling brilliance, offering readers an enchanting escape into a realm where the extraordinary becomes reality. A must-read for fantasy enthusiasts. I should mention here, this book is written in storyteller format with non-stop action and suspense. In other words, you may very well read this book from cover to cover in one sitting. Anyone who is a fan of Paul's writing can tell you that reading his work is a lot like sitting by the fire pit and having someone tell you a story. You can find Paul Leson's work and all his other books on Amazon in paperback and almost anywhere else in digital format.
There's a touch of madness around here.
And welcome back to another episode of Paranormal Proximity from a dark basement in a ghostly haunted dwelling somewhere in the black swamp of Northwest Ohio. I am your host, Paul Leson, as creepy as that may sound. Today we have Oliver Trusler as our guest. He's an author, and we're going to talk about all his works and all that kind of fun stuff. So the only thing I want to add here is that it's Eclipse Day. It's noon Eastern Standard Time, and nothing has happened yet. So I think it's safe to say nothing's going to happen. Anyway, hello, Oliver. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So I know you're across the pond. That's how much we know. And
yeah.
So where exactly are you from?
I'm from the south of England, but at the moment I live in the north of England because it's cheaper.
It's cheaper in the north end. Okay.
Yeah. Get more for your money.
So do you guys still have to pay for a TV license and all that kind of stuff?
I don't, because I don't watch normal TV. I just watch Netflix.
Oh, so you don't have to have a license if it's normal TV?
Only if you watch
Netflix. But if it's if it's free TV, so to speak, you have to have a license.
Yeah, then you have to have a license.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Whole thing with TV license is stupid anyway. But
yeah, I agree.
So okay. Anyway, the first thing, this guy bought my book, believe it or not. But the first thing I seen when he sent me a little bit of his and of one of his books. He's got several. And I noticed you have a fairly similar writing style.
Yeah, I thought so. When I read yours, I thought it was very similar the way we write.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. A kindred spirit.
Yeah. Here, I thought I was the only one that wrote like that. But I like to be more direct and to the point instead of taking 10 pages to talk about something.
Yeah.
But whatever people are into, that's all good. It doesn't matter. So tell us about your books. I mean, how many do you have?
Well, there's 4 out of the minute. They're all set in the same world, all in the same universe where superheroes exist.
Really?
But there's no sort of flying around with capes and wearing spandex and costumes like that. They're all normal people who've just got somehow caught up in different events, and they all get superpowers from different ways. And it just follows their stories. And although the books are separate, they're all linked in some way. Characters cross over from book to book, or locations might be in the same place, things like that.
What's a way that you get superpowers?
Well, the first book, the main guy didn't know, but he was abducted by aliens when he was a baby, and they tried to cross the alien DNA with the human DNA, and they came up with him, and it didn't work for them, so they sent him back, and then he just had this ability to be able to detach his limbs whenever he wanted.
Detach his wings?
His limbs.
Limbs. Oh, yeah, because I was reading something about that.
Yeah, so he wakes up one morning and he's lost his hand because he got drunk the night before. But he's always been able to do it, take his hand off, take his foot off. And throughout the book, he learns how to use his power a bit more than just party tricks.
Okay, so I can take my hands and foot off and, lose my head sometimes. But how does that fight crime?
Well, exactly. That's it. These aren't useful superpowers most of the time. They're pretty useless. He spends most of his life just using it for a trick, popping his hand off when he shakes someone's hand or something like that.
So does he go viral on author TikTok or something?
No, he tries to keep it all a secret. He gets sort of locked up in a facility where they investigate people with powers till he's about 15. And they decide he's pretty useless as well, so they let him go. But, they require him not to tell anyone about it.
When the government thinks you're fucking useless.
Exactly.
That was a good one. Okay. What made you start being an author? I mean,
years and years ago when I was in my teens, I used to try and write, and I never got anything finished. And then a couple of years ago, just one day, I just sort of had this idea of a guy who could take his hand off. Then I had a dream about a 6-legged cat, and so the next day I thought I could put that in a book, and just started writing. And I thought I'll just see what happens. And next thing I know, it's 50,000 pages, and I thought, yeah, this is quite good.
Okay. That's kind of what happened to me. I mean, you're in high school and you're in a class that they want you to write short stories.
Yeah.
So that's how I got started and all that. The whole process of trying to pull something out of your behind for the next day is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was fun. So anyway, what do you have planned next?
Well, I'm writing a book at the moment called The Man Who Put on a Dress and Could See Through Walls. He gets his powers whenever he puts on a woman's dress, which he finds out about by trying to impersonate a woman when he's trying to escape from rehab.
So, did you mean to write comedy, or is?
Yeah. I mean, all the books except for one are pretty much comedy. There is one in there that's more of a crime thriller, but that's sort of something I started writing when I was a teenager. And once I got going, I thought I want to finish this one now after all these years.
I'm going to put on a woman's dress and be able to see through walls.
Yeah.
Can you see through clothes as well?
Well, it's kind of more like astral projection, so he can send his mind out to the world and go and look around. But to start with, he just realizes he could see through walls.
What are the other powers, from your characters?
There's a guy called Alex who can turn himself into flames, shoot fireballs out and things like that. That's quite handy. There's a detective in one of the books who can tell whether someone's lying or not, which is a more subtle power, but obviously quite helpful for a detective.
Obviously.
Yeah. The aliens that they meet who take on human form, they can all control electronic devices just by their minds. So they don't need to touch computers or anything like that. They can just do it all with it, thinking about it.
Have you been abducted before?
No, I have not.
'Cause
Not to my knowledge.
That's pretty much how they do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they meet a lot of aliens along the way.
All right. So, do you have any plans on doing anything other than writing stories about superpowers and so on?
Not at the minute. The minute I'm still concentrating on that. I'm trying to build up a world where each of the books introduces different characters, different powers, and then hopefully I'll get around to writing one where they all meet up. And,
Okay, how is your fan base? I mean, are you doing fairly decent, or?
It's so. it's difficult to get out there and publicize it. But I've got it tends to be teenagers who like the work more than anyone.
It doesn't matter who it is that likes your work. I mean, if they want it, then that's great. It's the same old deal with me. I have issues with people that we just call them spammers, and it's like I had two people claiming to be authors today, and you know, they start talking about what is your genre and when did you start writing and all this kind of neat stuff, when if they actually gave a damn in the first place, the link is right there in the post that you found me. So it's immediately you block them, but it seems like 90% of the time it's the only time I even get it any attention. Everybody else is like, okay, so what?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've been trying to do different things, so I get on Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and stuff like that, but it's difficult to get followers in the first place.
Yeah, I've been on TikTok for way over a year now. I've got maybe 300 people.
Yeah.
And most of those don't really give a damn, so.
No. I get the odd like here and there, but I don't post that often, so I suppose I need to.
I think what the issue is that I'm trying to sell books or talk about serious issues, and it's not stupid.
Yeah.
Because most people like stupid.
Yeah. That's it. When you're scrolling through TikTok, you just want something to laugh at.
Basically, that seems to be what it is. So,
yeah.
I don't know what else to say at the moment. All right. So it is Eclipse Day here. Does it affect you at all over there?
No, I think we're in the wrong part of England. I think it's going to miss us totally.
No, it does. That's my whole point of asking the question.
No,
it doesn't affect you. The world's not going to end. Nothing catastrophic is going to happen. It's gonna. The lights are going to go out for 3 or 4 minutes, and then they're going to come back on.
Yeah.
So. In the books that you write, are any of the people kind of asinine, like what I was just describing?
I mean, you've got a few people who there's certain people in there who they just don't quite gel right with the others. They don't seem to know what's wrong with them. But
well, I was referring to like people with Chicken Little people. The sky is falling.
Oh right, no, not really. They're all kind of down to earth people who just sort of accept things that are happening to them. No one's overly surprised when aliens invade or cats turn up with extra legs and start talking.
So if you had the ability, you do have the ability, if at some point you're going to want to go in a different direction, well, what direction would that be? I mean,
I'd love to write a horror book. I grew up reading Stephen King and James Herbert and things like that, so I'd love to have a go at a serious horror book, but I don't know.
So you're into the paranormal then?
Yeah, all sorts of things like that.
Do you have any ghost stories that you could tell?
No, never seen a ghost.
You've never seen a ghost? Have you ever been ghost hunting?
No, I haven't actually. My wife has, but before she met me.
Yeah. You've not been abducted. You've never seen a ghost. How about cryptids? Any dealings
Well,
with
I'm not,
cryptids?
not in person. No. Have you met any?
I have seen evidence of, and I am an alien abductee,
Oh,
so to
right.
speak.
Yeah.
And I live in a haunted house.
Oh, cool. Well,
So yeah, all of the above, man.
yeah. So you've ticked every box there.
Yeah, I like to go out and look underneath everything. I
Yeah.
want to experience as much as I can experience. Otherwise, life is just too boring for me.
Yeah, I can see that.
So wow. So where can we find your work? I mean, because we're
Everything.
over here in the States. So are you on Amazon, or
Yeah, you can get it all on
are you
Amazon.
just on Amazon?
I am, yeah, just
You
on Amazon for releases.
So you got paperback and you have ebook, I assume.
Yeah, paperback and ebook, and you can read them on Kindle Unlimited.
Okay.
Should be worldwide.
Do you have any plans on going audio?
I haven't really looked into it yet. I'm not quite sure what the process is. Whether you have to hire actors and things like that, or what.
Well, I can talk to you after the show about that.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. It's pretty cool. And it's really cool to hear someone else narrate your story back when you listen to your story and from somebody else talk. There's something to be said for that. And I mean, it's a special kind of little feeling there that you don't get anywhere else. It is. It's exciting. It really is. And I take it you are just a solo author, and you don't have a publisher or anything like that?
No, it's all self-published. I do all the editing, the proofreading, the covers, everything myself.
How hard was that for you when you started doing all that?
Difficult. Yeah. I mean, I wrote the book and then I went, well, now what? I've got to check for spelling mistakes, I guess. And then the more you look into it, the more you realize there's a lot more to editing than just spelling mistakes.
Yeah, no doubt. A helpful thing that someone who is an author, a friend of mine, he told me to listen to it in Word.
Yes.
Listen to it,
very good advice.
Listen to it back. And if it doesn't flow through with the computer reading it, then there's something wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something I do now. I didn't do it on my first couple of books, but I heard that advice as well and gotten to read back. And it was particularly helpful because I realized I'd spelt the guy's name, who was Brian, several times. And hearing it back, I realized I'd spelt it wrong, but looking at it, I didn't see it. Just two letters different.
Yeah, the computer catches a whole lot of stuff. Having an editor is awesome, but sometimes you have things that you just want to do it in your style, and you don't want other people messing with it.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of it's down to cost.
Where when you have an editor like I do, you argue back and forth with the editor, and usually the editor wins.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Wendy. I love you to death. She's awesome. So how about formatting? Was that difficult for you?
Well, I used to do it all in Word, just in Microsoft. Then I started using Reedsy.
Using what?
Reedsy.
What is VT?
Readzy. It's a website. You can type in it. You can edit in it. It'll spell check it for you for the basics, and then it formats it all into a format ready for Kindle. Or you can download it as a paperback version, and then you can upload that to Amazon.
Okay.
But it's good. It takes a little bit of tinkering to get it to line up with how Amazon want it, but I think they all do.
Well, until you've done it enough times, you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, your first book is always a disaster. You want to pull your hair out with.
Yeah.
And that's what that happens to everybody, and anymore, I'm very grateful for the publisher, so she can format stuff, and for the editor, so that she can do her magic, and I don't have to worry about that. I just write it and send it off in the best way possible. And so, it's like, oh, well, you only have like 5 mistakes in here instead of 5,000.
Yeah, that would be nice to send it off.
Always do your work, people. There's always, how many rewrites do you usually have?
Probably about 8 or 9.
8 or 9 rewrites.
Yeah. But then it's not completely rewritten. It's just going back and forth and doing things. I mean, one of the things I love about writing is that you can get 20 chapters in and then you think of a good idea and you can go back and add things in to make sure that idea comes true in the next few pages. You don't have to
smooth things out, so it's not like, oh, well, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I have been lucky in the fact that I haven't have to do anything 10 times over.
Yeah.
Yet. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say yet.
Yeah.
Who knows? The day may come where, okay. Do you have anything else that you would like to add?
No, that's kind of it at the moment. I don't really write my books. I don't plan them. I start off with a sentence and then I just write and surprise myself sometimes with what happens.
That's kind of the way that I do it.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and I will think for days about a storyline.
Yeah.
And then I will think for days about how to add what I want in the story, how to add stuff into the story. And, after you have something like the trilogy that I'm working on, the 3rd book, and it's like, where do I want this to appear in the book? But the gist of it is you sit down and you just, pull whatever out of your butt that you can pull out of your butt and hope that it works.
Yeah. That's basically the way I do it. So obviously that does lead to rewrites because you then go back and you think, well, hang on, this needs changing and that needs changing. But it's fun doing it.
Or what was I thinking?
And that's why we do it.
What the hell was I thinking here? This is completely fucking stupid. Okay. So I guess this is going to be a short one.
Okay.
And I want to welcome you back, and I want to thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
Make sure you send me those links so that I can post them along with the video when it's done. You are scheduled to come out on. All right. You're scheduled to come out on the 24th.
Okay.
Which is the last Wednesday of the month.
Right. Yeah, I'll send you over some links.
Yeah. So, and there might be 2 people on this show.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, anyway, thank you. And y'all have a good one for Word Peddler Magazine and people out there like you guys who watch the show and make it worthwhile doing. Y'all have a good one. Y'all be well, be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I will see you. Bye.